Hey guys, I am here with your first form tip for core to force, and this has to do with the knees. So in general, you've probably heard before that it's best to keep the knee right over the ankle, but I know with some of the faster moves in this program, it's hard to really stay on top of that where your knee never goes forward, with the shin bone slanting forward. It's going to happen sometimes, but try to minimize that. So when you're doing things like, so here's my stance, and then when a jab is like this, and then the cross is with the backhand, and you're turning the foot, leg, and hip. Okay, so that's my second point. I'm getting ahead of myself. So when you turn, then you squat down and you punch, okay? But try not to let the knee go way forward over the toes. Keep the knee as much above the ankle as you can. So that means when you're squatting down, instead of, just watch where my hips are. So instead of moving forward, I want to squat just straight down. So I have to bend my back leg a little bit to do that and punch, okay? So let me show you again. This is what not to do. Look at the angle of my shin bone. This is what to do instead. Hips move straight down, and then I punch. So the first point, whenever the leg is bending and there's weight on it, keep the knee over the ankle as much as you can. The second point is that whichever direction the toes are going, the knee should go to, and vice versa. Whichever direction the knee is going, the toes should go to. So I start to feel it very quickly in my knee whenever I am twisting. So to take the same move, for example, hopefully you can see my back foot with the toes grounded down. So say I were to do my cross like this. I'm turning the hips, but I'm not turning my toes. Okay, it's already hurting my back in addition to my knee. So don't punch like this. When you turn your chest and your hips like that, you've got to pick up the heel and turn the foot and the knee too. Otherwise, if the foot stays turned out, if the foot doesn't come along, then the knee and the lower back are absorbing that twist as you try to turn your chest. So let the whole body turn, not just the shoulders, but all the way down to the hips, the knee, and the foot before you punch. So whichever direction you're turning, if you're turning your knee, you got to turn the toes too. If you're turning the toes, turn the whole leg so the knee is pointing, always facing over the center of the foot. Hopefully that makes sense. Let me know if it doesn't, if you need me to try and put it into different words so it makes more sense to you. Okay, so then another move that I was doing in just the first session, MMA speed, that I think could potentially cause some problems with the knees. It's a jab and cross where you're going up and down. So you've got jab, cross, high, and then you're going down low in your legs, jab, cross, low. So going a little faster, so you could see how it would be very easy for me to let that shin bone slant forward when I go down. Oh, don't do that. And the reason is, just look at this. So when the shin bone is slanting forward, both the shin bones and the thigh bone, the weight is going right into the back of the kneecap. It's the forces going in this direction, and your leg bones are heavy, and the kneecap is what's actually stopping those bones. So you do have some muscles that help you pull back, but there's also just some force that's being absorbed by the back of the kneecap and the cartilage in your knee, and that's what you want to avoid. So how do we do it instead to make sure that doesn't happen? It's the same point that I just mentioned of not letting the knee go out over too far ahead of the ankle. So keep the knee right over the ankle, right above the ankle. And in order to do this, you've got to have your feet wide enough apart. So if you're standing with your feet like this and you try to go down low, there's nowhere to go other than to angle the shin bone. So step your feet wide in your stance, your fighter stance. And then you do the high punches, of course turning your hips when you do the cross. And when you go down low to do the jab, do this in slow motion with me. that front leg, keep the knee over the ankle, do your jab, and then do your turn and do your cross. Don't go forward though, go straight down. So high, jab, cross, low, go straight down, jab, cross, twisting as you go. All right, now one more move from MMA Speed that could potentially cause some issues for your knees. So that's this, it's basically a sumo squat where we're rolling. So far so good, but then we had a jump. Okay? So I want you to get your form really excellent. There's no such thing as perfect, but get excellent form with the regular roll before you attempt to add the jump. And what do I mean by excellent form? Well, it's that point that, my first point from this video, actually it's my second point. I had two, this was the second one. So the knees, kneecaps, lining up with the center of the foot. I turn so hopefully you can see this. You can't see my foot though. Let me back up. All right, so this leg here, of course now I'm in the dark, but let me come closer. Just gonna hold it up. So I got my toes and the knee is right, so the shin bone is vertical. It's not slanting, right? So same concept, put your foot down on the floor. So do this along with me. Okay, now when you look at, first of all, your feet should be pointing out at about a 45-degree angle, and then really lengthen along the inner thighs so the kneecaps are pointing the same direction as the middle toe on each foot, middle toe. So the kneecap faces the center of the foot. So you might feel that your groins really have to open and you have to work your abductor muscles on the outside of your hips. And that's actually a big part of what this is supposed to be doing, so don't skip that part. And if you can't get your kneecaps as wide, if you can't get your kneecaps wide enough to face the same direction as the toes, then turn your toes in a little bit until it is possible. And with the knee facing the same direction as the toes, be uncompromising about that as you start to do these rolls, and then add the jumps to the rolls, but really keep extending those inner thighs. Extend from the inner thigh to the inner knee to keep the kneecaps facing the same direction as the toes, and do it slow until you feel like you have that muscle memory where you could do it faster. So I hope that these tips have been useful to keep your knees safe during core de force and kickboxing workouts in general. Please let me know if this was helpful and what questions you have. Thanks for watching.